Welcome students in the series of lectures on human resource management. Next in the series, I am starting with collective bargaining, one of our best bargaining technique when it comes to negotiation between the management and the workers. Collective bargaining, as its name says, it is a technique that has been adopted by union and management to reconcile their conflicting interest. Students, in an organization, in an industry, in a factory, management and workers, they work together. Management, they have their own objectives, whereas workers, they have their own. And when many people are working together, having different interests, they bound to have some conflicting interests. So collective bargaining is a technique which is adopted by both the parties, that is union and management, to reconcile their conflicting interest, that is the interest where both the parties are not matching to each other, are not actually agreeing to what other party expects. It is called collective because employees as a group, they select representatives amongst themselves only to meet and discuss differences with the employer. The negotiations for collective bargaining require joint sessions, definitely, where both the parties will sit together, will discuss upon the issues and will come to a conclusion, will reach to a particular conclusion, which is definitely accepted to both the parties, that is again the employer and the employee, union and the management, union of the workers and the management. So it is a joint session of the representative of the laborers and the management. There are different definitions given by different authors, different HR experts on the concept collective bargaining. The first definition I am quoting here is by Harrison. It is a process of accommodation between two institutions which have both common and conflicting interests. It is a coming together by both the parties, that is management and the workers. They have both their common interest and the conflicting interest. Definitely when they have a common interest, there will not be any fight between them, but when there is a conflicting interest of both the parties, there need to be a sort of a reconciliation. That is why we call it as a process of accommodation. So collective bargaining takes place when a number of work people enter into a negotiation. Here work people mean to say the employees enter into a negotiation as a bargaining unit with an employer or a group of employers with the object of reaching an agreement which is acceptable to both the parties on the conditions of the employment of the work people. This is another definition which was given by Richardson. When it comes to the characteristics or the various features of collective bargaining, it is a two-way process. One side is a management and another side is a worker. This bargaining or this agreement or this process can only reach to a conclusion when it is mutually accepted and agreed by both the parties. Say whatever decision you are taking, whatever decision you want to take, if both the parties agree to it, only then the collective bargaining process will be successful one. It is a continuous process. It should be a continuous process ideally, where it is not like both the parties have both the parties are sitting together and somehow on first day they have not reached to a conclusion and they'll stop it. No, it should be a continuous process. Both the parties should do brainstorming on a regular basis, should meet on a regular basis or a day or a 2 days interval, then again come together, they sit together and try to resolve the issues. It's a group action. If we say that only one person from the management and one person from the worker will come and they sit together and they reach on a particular decision, it is not possible at all. That is why we say it is always a group action. It is a flexible one. Flexible one means to say neither of the party, not management, not the workers, should be stringent or rigid on reaching to a particular conclusion. If both the parties are the flexible one in reaching the decision, only then conclusion will be drawn and only then the decision will come. Fluidity and ample scope for compromise for a mutual give and take before the final agreement is reached. It is always mutual give and take policy before the final agreement is drawn. It is always a dynamic and static. Dynamic is, I have already talked about, it is a flexible process. Both the parties should be dynamic enough to reach to a particular conclusion. They should sit together with an open mind, and simultaneously it's a static process, so that whatever conclusion we have drawn, whatever decision we have taken, it should be strict or rigid, or it should be stable for a certain period of time. It is not a competitive process where one party will win and another party will lose, but it is a complementary process, because ultimately at the end of the day it is a mutual agreement, and it should be a win-win situation for both the parties, not a win and lose situation. It is an art, an advanced form of human relation. It is a device and a procedure used by wage earners. Wage earners are the workers, to safeguard their interest. And industrial democracy at work, joint formulation of company policy on all matters which directly affects the worker. So it is a one form of industrial democracy, where both the parties, they work for each other, by each other, and to each other. Now, what are the various objectives and significance of collective bargaining? It is a technique that has been adopted by union and management for compromising their conflicting interests. It plays a major role in improving the labor and management relationships. Also, to ensure industrial harmony, it is required. It helps in easing out the various differences between the management and the workers, or when the work is stopped, or when some outside intervention is required. It provides a climate for smooth progress of the organization. It ensures that managers do not take any unilateral decision. It is also required, or it sometimes is necessary or important, so that management should not take any decision of their own choice. It develops a sense of responsibility as well as of self-respect among the workers, and is guaranteed towards a wage production. As far as advantages of collective bargaining is concerned, to the workers, we have economic advantages and we have non-economic advantages as well. When we talk about economic advantages, collective bargaining process takes care of the wages, hours of working conditions, and fringe benefits. And when non-economic goals we talk about, it talks about the worker's satisfaction with his job, protection of the union as a growing institute. And then we have certain advantages of this collective bargaining to the management as well. So management has a full control of the organization, maintain its ability to manage with a high degree of flexibility and efficiency, because workers, they work with them mutually and happily. Control of hiring, promotion, discharge, layoff, and last is a personal technique of it is basically a personal technique of the management. It has advantages to both the parties, to the management as well as to workers. They lay down fair rates of wages and norms of the working condition. When they sit together, they discuss upon certain issues, so they can lay down fair rates of wages and norms. They achieve an efficient operation of the plant. It promotes the stability and prosperity of the industry and brings social change through acceptable solutions. Now, when we talk about the collective bargaining, where both the parties are sitting together, workers and the management, how they reach to a particular conclusion. The first step in this, we composite a negotiating team. Negotiating team mean to say, where equal number of representatives of employers and employees, they sit together and they try to reach to a particular decision. When both the parties, they are sitting together, definitely they make a good bargaining. There should be maximum continuity of task. They should sit together with a problem-solving attitude, not with the rigidity in their mind. It encourages the leadership in both ways, at the management level as well as at the workers level, and definitely it requires other managers also to bring in to reach to a particular level. Now, when we are doing collective bargaining with the workers or with the management, there are some tactics to be followed, and according to Arnold Campo, there is a particular procedure which should be adopted in negotiation. First, for the union and management, be friendly in negotiation, introduce everybody, be willing to listen to each other. There would be enough time for you to worry about things and say no after you have heard all the facts. Give everyone an opportunity to state his position and point of view. Know something about the personal history of the other party's representative. Always bear in mind the fact that to do what is right and fair, and both the parties should strive to maintain an objective approach to a problem, not a grievance. Do not ever attempt to guide the discussion along a straight line. Define each issue very clearly, unambiguously, or detail in the context to ensure greater flexibility. And the most important, avoid sharp practices. Avoid commenting upon each other, that too negative. When it comes to the tactics, we have some tactics to be applied by the management. Management must at the outset make sure that the labor it is going to negotiate with are really the representative of the workers. Don't use lawyers as the negotiators. Don't limit contracts with the union to controversial subjects. Then the next step to collective bargaining is the follow-up action. When both the parties are sitting together, they have reached on a particular decision, whatever documentary evidences they are preparing, it should be in black and white. Both the parties should know what has been discussed in the meeting. Then the contract management is there, that is where the process of a negotiation has been completed. It is the time to sign the contract. So both the parties will sign the agreement and will decide upon yes, whatever has discussed. Management should be available for open discussion and conferencing. Give credit to the trade union for anything worthwhile achieving it. Management should avoid paternalism and strive to treat the union representative and its employees as equals. And many restrictive practices, what appear to be unreasonable demand of the workers, will disappear if the management tries to give regular employment to its workers. And definitely we have some tactics to be followed by the trade unions as well. It is basically the trade union's responsibility that their members understand terms of the agreement and it has reached with the management. And the union representatives should make themselves available for a conference whenever they are required to do so. So students, when we say collective bargaining is a process, in a very simple language, if I should say, you are going to a market to buy something and shopkeeper is asking for some other prices or a high price and you are ready to pay a low price. So both the parties, the shopkeeper and the you, they decide upon on a medium price say which your pocket affords and which shopkeeper also will not be in a loss. So the price you pay for that particular product is called a collective mutually agreed price. Same is the case here. When management and the workers, they both sit together, they negotiate on a particular issue and they accept or they give their consent on the terms and conditions which are mutually agreed to both the parties. And for this particular concept, both the union members, management representatives and the workers representatives, both parties should have or should come up with an open mind. Yes, we are here to make certain decisions, we are here to take decisions which are beneficial to both the parties, to the workers as well as to the management. I hope with this you have a clarity about the collective bargaining concept, what the collective bargaining is, what are the various features of collective bargaining and what are the tactics required to actually apply this practice. So thank you so much students, and I request you to like, share and subscribe my channel which is there on YouTube with the name of Ritu Gandhi Arora. Thank you.